There's a lot of greatness in the house tonight here in Las Vegas. How about it? Kelsey Plum being honored the all-time leading scorer in Pac-12 history. She's won back-to-back WNBA championships with the Aces and one of our all-time favorites. Joining the set now, Kelsey, it is always so good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Ladies, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, it's the last hurrah, so
it is the last hurrah.
I'm proud, you know, a lot of memories, but thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, and we'll talk about some of your memories, but let's talk about what we saw in that first half. Oregon State came to play. What stood out to you?
I think you got to give credit to Scott Rueck in the way that he coaches. I mean, that man used to keep me up and give me nightmares because he makes you take shots that you don't really want to take, and I think Stanford has settled tremendously in the first half. I also think, too, they're just so disciplined on the offensive end. They execute, they get into their stuff, they get exactly what they want, and as you can see as a result, you know, they're dominating this game.
I didn't know there was a shot you didn't want to take.
At least I've grown. I've grown.
That's the ball, bro. For this first half, the quality of play. We're looking at 4 teams right now that are all going to be hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. The talent level, what are you seeing out there that in this game particularly that catches your eye?
It's tremendous. I mean, you talk about big, skilled athletes. I think that I've been really impressed with the face-up game of Oregon State. I've also been really impressed with the post play. But Stanford has some ballers, and I think that they didn't show their greatest potential in the first half. But that's what happens about postseason. At the end of the day, you know, teams take things away, but then you just kind of elevate your game. And I have a feeling Kiki and Cameron Brink, they're going to figure that out in the second half.
Kelsey, you've been on the floor in many of these situations. You talked about how well Oregon State has been playing. They went on a 21-2 run through the first quarter and the second quarter. How important was it for this Stanford team to only be down by 8 points going into halftime?
They should be super encouraged. I think they played not their brand of basketball, and that happens, right? Like, Oregon State's going to take away things that they do really well, but in the second half, Stanford, they got to play their pace. I think they slowed down a little bit and kind of cater to Oregon State. I think they got to play fast. I also think they got to move the ball a little bit better and don't settle.
Kelsey, I know you mentioned some of the memories that you have playing in this league and in this tournament. I just love to reflect. I will never forget that night in 2017 when you dropped 57 on Utah to break the all-time scoring record, which Caitlin Clark now owns. But when you think back on your time at Washington and all of those great moments and great players that you got to play against, and here's some of that footage right here, what comes up for you?
Besides the annoying Stanford band, to be honest, I'm just super grateful. There's so many great memories, just the human beings that I've been able to meet along the way. And, you know, it is kind of sad, but at the same time, I do think that the conference should hold their head high. I think we did some things we're really proud of. And like you said earlier, there's 4 teams right now in this tournament that could win the national championship. You know, that's just really a reality. So focusing on the positive and excited for a good second half.
I know one thing, with it being the last hurrah, you will always be the Pac-12's leading scorer. The day you die, girl, nobody's breaking that record. So, but the growth of women's basketball, you were so humble in the way that you handled passing the baton to Caitlin Clark. I loved it. And women's basketball, the growth of it, all these great young stars. Just tell me from that perspective of Caitlin breaking it, and you know, your thoughts on that. How do you reflect upon the great? Has it sunk in? Because when you broke it, it hadn't sunk in what you accomplished.
It didn't. I don't think I really understood the magnitude of what it was until maybe a couple years after. But it was really cool to see the game just continue to transcend. I mean, you have Caitlin, but then you have stars like Juju, right? Hannah Hidalgo. There's people that are just continuing to come, and that's, to me, what the sport is all about. It's about growth, and it's about continuing to push the envelope in ways that, you know, women haven't been before. So proud to be a part of it, but listen, the baton is passed, and I'll see you in the W.
Well said. Kelsey, we look forward to watching you continue your terrific career. 3-peat this year?
No pressure.
We're going to enjoy a great second half.
Enjoy a great second half. Like the